Oh, hello everyone, it's Susie, Crypto Granny here. The date is the 23rd of September 2021 and the time in Amsterdam, Netherlands time is 19:47 p.m. Sorry for the delay today, I was extremely busy with clients and I had a lot to do with my clients. But the market is very, very interesting at the moment. I'm very worried about the risk markets at the moment. Yes, we have seen the Dow rally, and yes, we have seen the NASDAQ rally, and yes, we have seen the S&P rally, and the VIX is at 21 on the equity market, which is a volatility measure, but I am not convinced, I have to say. All my risk metrics are at extreme levels. Volatility is still rising. Emerging market currencies are selling off. Credit spreads are rising. High yield spreads are selling off. In other words, interest rates are going up, price going down. And when we look at the interest rate curves, the base interest rate curves for the Aussie, UK, US, and most of the European countries, interest rate curves are steepening quite quickly, which is always a concern because that will pass through to credit curves and steepen those curves as well, and the cost of funding in the debt market. If we look at the US 10-year bond rate at the moment, it is elevated, has moved through the 200-day moving average on a 4-hour basis, which is always a metric that I use, and currently the 10-year bond yield is at 1.394. up 10 basis points, which is quite a big shift in interest rates. And we see that with the Aussie market, the UK market, and as I said, the European market as well. Okay, and obviously when you've got interest rates going up, the equity market will come down because the equity market is always valued generally on a discounted cash flow basis, and $100 in 1 year divided by 1 for a yield is 100 fair value today. But if you divide it by 2, it brings down the price to 50. And I think there's a real risk here. If you're long the equity market, if I was long the equity market, I would be taking my profits right now in this rally and running. I just don't like this market at all, honestly. And when I look at cryptocurrency and I look at my 4 hours, all the prices, even though they're bounced, are still under the 200-day moving average, okay? And volatility is rising in crypto land as well. Crypto fear index, I think this morning was about 27 to 28, something like that. But I just don't like this. I see this as the top of the rally on Bitcoin at 44849 currently, and Ethereum at 3164. And I only have 5% of my overall cash in crypto at the moment, okay? And I'm not buying anything else because I cannot go against all my risk metrics in fiat markets, okay? I'll just have a glass of water, won't be seen. I honestly don't like what I see from years of experience in markets, of 40 years or so, right? And also we've got this Evergrande property developer in China, the second largest property developer in China, and they have something like 312 billion in debt, in liabilities, debt that is owed to banks and owned to bond investors, okay? Now, they have to make some very large coupon payments this year of 669 million. There's a very large coupon payment due today of 83.5 million. I don't know whether that's been paid, but when you look at their debt profile and what coupons are due, in January of 2022, there's extremely large coupons due. And I do believe this company will default. There is no doubt about it in my mind, okay? They have 700 properties across China in 200 different areas in China and towns and that sort of thing. And I just don't like what I'm seeing in the market at the moment, okay? The Asian emerging markets are selling off. High yield is selling off. Credit spreads, as I said, are selling off. And as I said, the volatility on crypto is still rising, and it is getting to higher levels, which we'll cover as well in this. So what I'll do is I'll cover the cryptocurrency market first in terms of obviously the news, the stats, funding rates, trading models that I have, as well as what the social media is looking at the derivatives curve, looking at the positioning of people, looking at liquidity and all that sort of thing. And then I will also talk in more detail about the fiat markets. Also, I'd like to start with, obviously there was a Fed FOMC meeting, Federal Opens Markets Committee meeting on the 22nd and the 23rd. Federal Powell came out, the Fed Chairman Powell, and said that they will taper in probably very soon, probably in November, they will start reducing taper, and by May of next year, they will not be putting any more money into the capital markets or the financial market system, right? And that's 120 billion that they've been putting into the market every month, okay? Now, they do believe that inflation will rise, unfortunately, and look, if they don't believe that, they must be pretty stupid. They believe that the PC indicator for inflation is going to be revised sharply higher, and we can see that right across the board in terms of commodities, the cost of living, everything, food. Also, they mention that they believe there will be higher unemployment from 2021 to 23, which is not a great story. Also, 9 members out of the Fed Open Meeting Committee, 9 members actually voted for a rate hike in 2022. That is up from 7. And honestly, I just don't like what I'm seeing in fiat markets at all, okay? I really, really don't, and it really bothers me, okay? The Bank of England left their rates unchanged at 10%, but the thing is, the interest rate curves are already moving. Interest rate curves move before a central bank comes in and actually raises rates, right? And we are seeing that already in the debt markets. Now, often the fixed interest people are ahead of the curve before the equity guys, okay? Equity guys and girls, right? And, you know, we look at funding rates and all sorts of things. And also within the crypto market, funding rates are negative, which tells me that they're selling crypto, okay? Selling crypto. So let's have a look at live coin watch at the moment. Market cap is 2.053 trillion. Volume's high at 90.7 billion. Liquidity's at 4.91 bill. Dominance, Bitcoin dominance is 41.08%, okay? If we go to Mazari and look at the overall turnover for real volume, according to Mazari, Tether is at 24 bill, Bitcoin at 6.73 bill, Ethereum is 5.49 bill, Binance US 4.72 bill, Solana 2.668 bill, USDC 1.88, ADEX is up there at 1.59 bill, Cosmos at 1.57 bill. Then we go down to XRP, which is 894 mil, okay? So let's just talk about the market. Looking at Bitcoin on a 24-hour clock, the open was 42509, got to a high of 44347, low 42132, and currently Bitcoin, as I said, is 44871. I do believe it's extended, but when you look at the 4-hour price action and the 200-day moving average, Bitcoin is still under that. And when I look at my technicals, which I did technicals with my clients today on cryptocurrencies and the equity market, most cryptocurrencies trading still under the 200-day moving average for a 4-hour. And that does not make me want to buy crypto, people. Seriously, I'm going to stay with my 5%, but I'm not buying any more crypto until I see the risk metrics reduce. Okay, that's a fact. And as I said, I've only got 5% of my money in crypto. And I am thinking about buying a put on that 5%, just simply because I'm expecting a more sell-off in the next 6 weeks, okay? October is always seasonally a very bad time for equity markets, and with any risk coming from the equity market will certainly percolate into the cryptocurrency market. So let's go to the news. The Office of Comptroller is now issuing strong warnings that the crypto industry is in danger of replicating the toxic culture that was present in fiat markets before the 2008 crash. Okay, so that's a bit of a warning out there, just that in itself. HSBC, who have $3 trillion under management, said they'd like to support SBDCs or central bank digital currencies, but they still are skeptical about cryptocurrencies. Obviously, they don't know the technology clearly. The UAE, Dubai, approves crypto for a free trading zone. Ripple have also put on a new client, and it is a central bank, the Royal Monetary Authority of Bhutan, okay, which are going to be using Ripple as their private ledger to issue their own central bank digital currency, which is a great story. Now, if you remember rightly, Ripple also put on the Bank of Kuwait earlier this year as well, and I think this is just the start for Ripple, okay? Seriously, I think they can do it so much more, and I think it's a great story. Now, eToro launches 11 DeFi asset portfolios, and again, we do not touch DeFi. DeFi gets hacked all the time, okay? All the time. There was a big story out there today, SushiSwap a good hacker or a white hacker, they call them, claims that SushiSwap has massive risks within its coding, okay? And this hacker said that $1 billion of funds could be stolen from SushiSwap. And I do believe this, I have to say, because all this coding, right, that these DeFis create is not audited, okay? And if this hacker is saying it can be, it's very vulnerable, I tend to believe that. SushiSwap came out and said, no, it's not, but I tend to think it is. And again, why would you be in DeFi, right? SushiSwap's on Ethereum. You pay fees for SushiSwap. You pay fees on Ethereum. Why wouldn't you just go directly to the big exchanges that have liquidity and you don't pay those fees, okay? Now, Chile has put on another client called Washington Wizards. And apparently they're an NBA client. They're basketball, according to my USA clients. Now, FTX has sponsorship to deal with F1 team Mercedes, AMG, Petronas. And apparently this is going to be, they're going to be sponsoring them, and there's going to be advertising from September the 26th. Nexo is getting their assets audited, which is fantastic, by a proper audited accountant. And for transparency. Now, the thing is, every crypto out there that holds assets on behalf of clients or custodial assets should have them audited, okay, by accountants, certified practicing accountants. It is just good business practice, and it is also transparency. Also, coding of technology should be audited as well. And often we find in cryptocurrency, the coding is not audited, and then we find hackers getting into it and stealing coins, okay? Robinhood, they're going to open up a crypto wallet, and they said they're going to be rolling that out next month. Polygon has partnered with News Crypto to partner with Polygon to improve interoperability and connect the Polygon blockchain to Stellar. They're going to create a wrapped Stellar, which will be usable on Polygon on their DeFi ecosystem. Now, Tom Brady, I don't know who this fellow is, wants his salary on Bitcoin, Ethereum, and Solana. Gemini is to sponsor Chainlink, Proof of Reserves, and use Chainlink's price oracles, and also auditing and security, which is great for Chainlink. Chainlink put on 2 clients a day. Amazing story. Solana integrates TRM Labs to offer enhanced security and compliance to networks. TRM Labs is an anti-financial crypto monitoring service, which is great for Solana, okay? Also, they've integrated Civic, which is a self-identity verification project where we do like Civics, and Solrise to create a DEX, and this will be on Solano's platform as well, okay? Also, Solano has got a new client called Soul Plugs, which is an NFT gaming that's going to go on Solano's platform as well. And Solano's Orica secured 18 million funding with the Poly chain, which is a great story for those guys. Now, Binance has revealed it was in collaboration with the law enforcement agency the investigations of the Russian crypto exchange SUEX, okay? Tron Justin Sun has launched the third world's ETN. Now, if you don't know what an ETN is, I mentioned this the other day. It's an exchange-traded note on the equity markets. He's launched it on 14 different European countries, including Germany, France, Netherlands, Switzerland, and more. And an exchange-traded note is basically clients can buy Tron on an equity market, okay? And what that means is for everything that's bought on the equity market, the exchange-traded note manager needs to buy the same equivalent of Tron. And this is a great story for Tron. And I tell you what, Justin Sun is pretty amazing. I don't care what people say. This guy is someone to reckon with, and Tron is an amazing story, okay? It's still very cheap. If it gets lower, I will definitely have an interest in buying Tron, okay? Now, Crypto.com, they've signed a deal in partnership with NFT. NFT Signs with a DeFi for collections with globally celebrated athletes, which is a great story. Now, if we look at social media, World Wide Web, Velospad, Smooth Love Potion, Plant vs. Undead, Orica, BNB, and AVEX. And out of that, I like Binance and AVEX. If we look at Luna Lush, Tezos, Cosmos, Terra, AVAX, Eron, Coty, Seller Network, Hedera Hashgraph, Elgran, and Cello. And what I like there is Tezos, Cosmos, Avex. I'm still looking at Hedera Hashgraph because a lot's changed on that. I don't like Elgran and I don't like Cello either. If we look at funding, this tells us, this is one of my risk metrics I look at on the funding side, and the funding side has gone negative, okay? And we can see that assets are being sold at the moment, and some of the larger negative funding rates are, for example, Coty at 20%, Cell at 16%, Flow at 20%, Dawn at 18%. What else we got? Media, 19%, Mer, 11%, SNX, 11%, Ample, 11%, right? And that tells you the market is selling cryptocurrency. I'm very sorry cutting that off, but if you'd like to hear the whole podcast and get all my information on Patreon and reviews and all sorts of things, please join my Patreon. It's Crypto Granny on Patreon. You can see what's available there, and it would be very, very much appreciated. Thank you.